So welcome to the channel, guys. I'm actually super excited to get this going. So basically, I've just noticed we don't really have too many lawn guys over here in WA where I am. So there's a lot of other guys that are based over east, which is not too bad. It obviously does help us out, but they've got different weather, different conditions than what we do. So I was just like, cool, there's a gap, need to fill it. And being someone that's just absolutely, I'd call it addicted to my lawn. Just thought, why not put it out there, educate you guys, and basically go from there. So I've been in this property now, we've just purchased 3 months. And when we moved into the lawn, couldn't really class it as lawn. It was a sandbox. Yeah, we had a tiny little bit of lawn in the front, and I mean tiny, and there was no lawn in the back. It was 100% weeds. So basically what I'm gonna do is go through, show you what I'm dealing with, and how far I've actually got it to come. It is looking pretty damn good so far. I've actually got lawn again, so we'll have a bit of a look. I'll show you through it, we'll go from there. Okay, so this is basically the front lawn and where I've got it to now. When we moved in, unfortunately, when we purchased the house, previous owners decided to turn off the water. So the 3-4 months from when I purchased it to getting the old house settled, moving into here, they just turned it off. So there was no retic, no water going to it, and it was just a sandbox. So basically I had a tiny little bit of lawn here and here. That was it. The rest of it was just absolutely sand. There was nothing to it at all. And as you can see, it's actually come back pretty good. Like, there obviously, it's still quite thin. There are some bare spots. This side of the lawn was probably the worst. As you can see, it's still quite bare. But, you know, overall, it's not looking too bad. Unfortunately, moved into this house in the absolutely worst time that we could. It was basically the beginning of autumn. We're now, temperatures are dropping. We're now going into winter over here. This week's, I've been pretty lucky. We've had the sun, as you can see, the sun decided to come out and join us. But it's not looking too bad. I have obviously been putting down a lot of my fertilizers, liquid, granular. In the first month of being here, obviously moving in, the lawn didn't really get touched. After that, so I've technically been working on it 2 months. I decided to throw down some topsoil, overseed, aerate the front lawn. The back lawn was so bad, we didn't do anything along that. We just went with a cooch seed for the front, which went pretty good, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, so that's my front lawn. We'll jump over to the back lawn, show you what we're dealing with there, and again, just how much it has grown. So we'll jump over there. Okay, so I've run from the front to the back, just so I can show you guys basically what we're gonna be playing with, basically trying to get back to having that luscious lawn, striped lawn from what I had in the last house to now moving here and having nothing. This lawn's not too bad. It's coming back, but we had nothing out here. It was just not a thing at all. So I'll spin the camera around, show you what we're dealing with. So 2 months, which I will put some photos up because I've got it. This is now what I've managed to get growing out here. It's quite good. Again, I've gone with cooch. I'm a cooch lover. It's up to you, basically, what you want to run with. A lot of people like kike. I don't. I like the smaller leaf blade of the cooch. As you can see, it is still quite thin, but 2 months growth, we've done pretty good out here. Unfortunately, I haven't touched it with a bit of weed killer, so there's no broadleaf bow and arrow being put down on this. I haven't Spartan, I won't put Spartan down because I am going to try and do a full reno out here again in spring. So a little bit away from that, but I just don't want to put Spartan down and then go, oh, now I'm not going to get the germination. So we do have a fair bit of broadleaf weeds, as you can see here, big patch of it. There's another big patch over in the back corner, but so far, it's pretty damn good. We've got grass, so that's the main thing. We've got something to work with. Okay, so I've basically shown you what we're going to be dealing with. All I'm going to be doing today out in this back lawn is give it a quick mow. I do want to get some bow and arrow down just to try and conquer these weeds that I've basically got out here. It's a lot of these broadleaf weeds. Out the front, there's a couple that are starting to pop up. So something again, I'm going to get the real mower out there, get some bow and arrow down, start trying to conquer them, and just basically get the lawn back to where I want it before winter hits. Because as we all know, I want to get it to where I want it as good as I can before winter, because then winter it's just going to be, that's what I've got. Can't really do too much with it. So we'll get straight into it. I'll get the mowers out. We'll go and do the front first, and then come out the back and continue with that. Okay, so we're back at the front. Got to do the quick edging along my footpath, round past the parking, and then down the front, and then we'll get into the mowing, the exciting side. Okay, so I've just finished mowing the lawn down at 15 mil. It's some places probably about 25, which is really, really surprising for this time of year. But I've obviously been trying out the Lawn Hub, Roots and Shoots, 3-way, using their wet. Obviously good doing granular as well, but we'll go more into depth with that on a later date when we do use it, but it has been doing really, really well. But I've done a multi-directional cut with the lawn. It's come up quite nicely. It's nice and short. I'll see if I can get it down low enough you can actually see. So it is nice and short. Going the multiple directional cut, so I've cut obviously across the yard, and then I've come down on a diagonal and cut across, just from getting that even cut, because I don't want it to be uneven if I miss the spot. But I'm going to mix up a quick bow and arrow and wet mixture in my spray pack, my solar spray pack, just so I can get on top of some of these little weeds, just because there's a couple of little patches out in that front corner that I want to get. So we'll mix that up, spray it out, and then that's the front lawn done for today. And then I'll get onto the back lawn tomorrow. I may record it, I may not. There's not too much I can do out there at the moment, but we'll see how we go. But we'll get into this spraying. I'll show you what I do, how I do it, and we'll go from there, guys. Okay, so basically what I've got my wet from Lawn Hub. Because it's roughly around out the front, it's about 100 squares. I use 100 ml of that. So we'll just throw that in the sprayer. And what the wet's going to do, obviously with the bow and arrow, it is going to help it stick to the leaf. Normally I wouldn't have mowed before I spray this, but I've only got 2 days off this swing before I go back to site. So, you know, an average break like yous, there's only so much we can do. So we'll throw that 55 ml in. So I run 55 because it's obviously water ratio to the bow and arrow is a little bit higher, and the lawn's a little bit more than 100 squares. One thing I do recommend, obviously, when you're mixing your, we'll call it chemicals, up, is do a small water mix beforehand to make sure they're actually going to gel together. I have with my wet and my bow and arrow. I know they gel. Just make sure they're not going to separate and do anything out of the ordinary. So we'll fill this bad boy up. So we are done. Double cut the lawn, run over it with some wet and bow and arrow, get on top of these broadleaf weeds. We'll come back, see how it's going in a couple of weeks, see if we need to reapply, but I reckon it's got to hit the nail on the head quite nicely. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, like, subscribe.